Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR. If there was one movie you could completely delete from reality, what would it be? The live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender. There is no movie in Ba Sing Se. What are you talking about? No one made a live-action version. How can you delete something that doesn't exist? I can't go along with this meme because I knowingly buy numerous copies of the film every year to give to my brother for Christmas. Last year I got him 5 copies. This year I'm doing 6 copies and a copy of the Wii video game. This was the movie I had in mind when I was writing this question. I just finished the TV series and the movie is terrible. The one good thing to come of it was James Newton Howard's score. Flow Like Water deserved so much better than that film. Yeah, but the OG soundtrack is way better. And I forget the next part. But then it goes, secret tunnel, in the mountains, secret tunnel. Yeah, soft applause. I would remove the movie, The Mandela Effect, because it would cause mass confusion and lead on to the topic of the Mandela Effect and people would go insane. Edit. What the frick? I am pretty new to Reddit and got the app not that long ago. I make this comment, go off to do other things, and come back to over 25k upvotes and 5 awards. This is super overwhelming. Thanks for my first silver, and thanks to everyone that upvoted. You just started my entire Reddit career. Seriously. Had this conversation with my boyfriend right after we watched it. I told him I wouldn't be surprised if they erased this movie soon just on to frick with people. And if I had anything to do with it I totally would as well. Internet comment etiquette on YouTube filmed 2 almost identical videos about the Mandela Effect, and at one point he re-uploaded one and deleted the old video, and it was one of my favorite things to happen. The live-action Dragon Ball movie, it's just sad. Lol. I have a rule that when these threads come up I Ctrl+F for Dragon Ball. Then apologize as I worked on it. This time around, looks like Dragon Ball is mentioned twice in the top 10, haha. Wow, what a pile of poo. Didn't know one existed. Probably for a reason. Edit. Oh god, that's bad. I started watching it and it was so bad I regret everything. Imagine Dragon Ball if Goku was a generic D-list high school movie character. This is the entire film. Also he's kinda emo and the Kamehameha is just fancy airbending. You know a movie is going to be bad when it has the same ability as the Last Airbender movie. Fun fact, that movie was so horrendously bad that it encouraged Akira Toriyama, creator of the Dragon Ball series, to come out of retirement. Then he produced 2 movies, Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, and Dragon Ball Z, Resurrection F, both of which were adapted into the anime series Dragon Ball Super. Artemis Fowl. There are enough issues with the film to make even a casual watcher hate it. Forget about those who read the books. They went beyond screwing up. It's actually quite impressive when you think about it. I'd never have thought they could frick up that much. I knew it was going to be bad as soon as I saw Artemis surfing. Dude doesn't even have the dexterity to successfully climb a ladder and you have him surfing. Just no. The coolest thing he ever did was catch a coin and these frickers made him surf. Artemis loved Ireland. Cut to shot of a child surfing in Ireland. Yeah, no. Ireland. World capital of surfing. With all those super safe jagged rock cliffs where all the children's solo surfing happens. Frick this movie. Edit. Till there's actually a pretty big surf scene in Ireland. Very cool. Though I maintain that Artemis surfing is utter bullcrap. He has a butler named Domovoy Butler. Me. Visible anger. But no one ever called him Butler. That was a deliberate slap in the face to everyone who read and loved the books as children. Like frick you. This isn't your story anymore. We're gonna take a steamy dump all over it and there's nothing you can do. Yeah, like the butler in the book had absolute control all the time. He's not going to flip you out of rage. I was more annoyed by that than by them telling us his name. The lore is that the Butler family have been so good at what they do for so long that the word Butler came into popular use because of their family name. That film makes it seem like the butlers in its world are all awful. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why make so many changes? What metric decreed that they'd have to change these important elements from the book? How did they miss the point of it all so badly? Why? At least they made Foley an absolutely insufferable piece of trash. Actually, now I think about it, that's probably because the writing was so bad that everyone was an insufferable piece of crap. The biggest problem I had was that completely flipped Butler's naming preference for literally no reason at all. Not that the other changes are good, but this one seems completely senseless. Presumably, they were iffy about an African-American man being called Butler by a skinny white boy. I mean, Butler was Eurasian in the books, and it's mentioned that the word butler probably comes from his family. But whatever. Yeah, IDGI, they changed the race of a guy who comes from a family that has served as servants for centuries and decide to make him black. Yikes. And then frick with his very characterization by no longer making his given name a guarded secret, and ruining the future scene where he entrusts it to Artemis, so they can avoid calling him Butler. The Fahrenheit 451 movie, just for the irony. They've all been pretty poor representations of the book as well. Eragon, one of the most disappointing movies of my lifetime. I've seen this answer so often I have fortunately avoiding seeing that movie edit. I'm apparently still getting upvotes 22 days later on this comment. I think that alone showing volumes of the shittiness of this move. If you've read the books, just don't. If you've never touched the books before, it's okay. Doesn't even matter, I don't think. I watched with a friend who hadn't read it and she had no idea what was going on most of the time. XD. That's what happens when you try to cram an entire book worth of literal years of progress, described on hundreds of pages, with several arcs of multiple character introductions and development, with a coherent plotline spanning the entire story and dozens of smaller side stories, into one 2-hour movie. I am incredibly offended about this because Christopher Paolini has gone to incredible lengths to invent and describe a system of magic that was cohesive, made sense, was based on real-world physics, had legitimate limits to it, was very fun to read about, and was absolutely brilliant in a real-world sense. If you can alter reality with magic, of course you won't cast giant fireballs to obliterate armies, because that uses up a lot of energy. You can just sever a couple of neural connections inside the brain of a man to immediately kill him. This is bloody brilliant, absolutely refreshing. You rarely see something that isn't so over the top in the description of magic. And then the movie completely omits the entire thing and makes generic magic system that doesn't have any consequences. You don't see Eragon nearly dying after using magic for the first 2 to 3 times. You don't see him struggling to lift a small pebble. Quite an iconic scene, by the way. He just up and becomes an expert mage. Also, his character was completely botched. In the books, when he killed Durza, it was an act of self-sacrifice, when he had his back slashed through and was bleeding on the ground. Sophira comes through the ceiling as a distraction and inspires him to do the last leap forward and stab Durza in the heart. Afterwards, Eragon faints out of pain and nearly dies because of how far he pushed himself. He saved the Vardens with his act, became a Shadows Layer, but also got crippled. In the movie, he stabs Durza in the heart during an air battle and laughs in his face, saying, "You call yourself a Dark Lord?" Which is so freaking out of character it pains me to even think about that. This is such an absolutely worthless sentence that has absolutely no purpose but to mock your opponent, which is something completely out of Eragon's character. He does that in the books once, after weeks of humiliation, in different circumstances. He instantly gets humbled, regrets it afterwards, accepts his humiliation and keeps working on himself. Eragon in the books and Eragon in the movie are completely different people. The 4th Harry Potter, so people will wonder why they made all the movies but just skip the 4th. I like the way you think. Everyone just scratching their heads wondering why Voldemort is suddenly back when last they heard he was as it on the back of some professor's melon. It's funny you say that. I watched the movies previously around their release dates, and decided it was time to give them a rewatch. So a couple weeks ago, I marathoned all the movies, and upon starting Goblet of Fire, discovered that I had, in fact, never seen Goblet of Fire. Boy did that fill in some gaps about how Voldemort was suddenly back in the Order of the Phoenix. The Dark Tower. Stephen King fans waited years and years and years for this movie, only for a 90-minute bullcrap parade that didn't scratch the surface of the story. I got one of my friends into the series, and when the first whispers of production were circulating, he called me up all excited. I was like, man, I've been down this road before. If the movie gets made, it's just going to be a piece of crap. There's too much book for a movie. I do feel like it could be given a decent treatment as a TV series. Especially since the source material is finished and we don't have to worry about showrunners freaking the last 2 seasons all the way up. About the biggest Dark Tower fan there is, have read the books numerous times. I have tattoos inspired from the books. I saw the previews and didn't go see it. Once I saw the reviews from the real fans, it was never even a question to see it. Me too. My go-to reply on Reddit is, what Dark Tower movie? They forgot the face of their fathers. Cats. I had a great time with Cats. I got more high than I've ever been before and went with a friend. Theater was almost completely empty. Most people were in their 20s. A few even showed up in costume. We were on some kind of drug. There were also 2 families with young kids, who I'm sure felt out of place. I don't know what the director was thinking with Cats. Everyone will rue the day they stopped the release of the butthole cut. Muahaha. No worries. Someone added in a few buttholes and in a few cases, the anatomically correct number of nipples for a cat. 2. Edit. Thank you for the gold. My first gold is about cat butts and cat nipples. Note to self, make more cat butt and nipple references. Edit 2. Thank you for all the awards. I swear to God one of those buttholes had a piece of tapeworm hanging out of it. But I'm not going to rewatch it to tell you which one. The Emoji Movie. Also, how TF is the eggplant emoji unpopular in a movie about a high schooler? This guy's asking the right questions. Yeah, eggplant is the most popular food among high school students. Hey, let's have the nicest and kindest actor that ever existed play a literal piece of crap. Imagine going from starring in Logan to the Emoji Movie in the span of a few months. Just remember, they're the same ones that made Into the Spider-Verse. It's the same studio, sure, but it's not like they have the same director, producers, or writers. Saying they're made by the same people is not entirely accurate. There's 2 that come right to the top of my mind. 1, the live-action Avatar, TLA, and the second, Eragon. Honestly, Eragon is probably the winner in my mind. It's a 4-part book series that could have made fantastic movies. But whoever made the first movie had apparently never read the books, because they made some seriously critical errors that made a second book narratively impossible. Yeah, they should just friggin' redo that. Loads of potential. The third and fourth, Mummy. Let The Mummy Returns be the gold standard for sequels. Edit. So many gold quality sequels have entered this chat. Let The Mummy Returns be the gold standard for sequels. Terminator 2 has entered the chat. Can I delete Season 8 of Game of Thrones instead? Can we delete Season 7 as well? Dragon Ball Evolution. That movie is horrible. Thank you for commenting. I was beginning to wonder if nobody was going to say anything. That's because we don't talk about it. The Dark Tower. Well, all realities. There are other worlds than these. Edit. Apparently people who didn't read the books enjoyed this movie. My advice, if you enjoyed what you saw, read the books if you want a really amazing story that blows the film version out of the water. Did a chuck, Sony Pictures, what the frick? I was so excited when they announced it. Idris Elba is great and I was excited for them to kick off a new series based on books I like. And yeah, it was bad. Son of the Mask. That movie is so bad, that even though I know for a fact that I have definitely seen it, I do not recall one single detail of it. I completely blocked it from memory. 50 Shades of Grey. Period. 2 birds with 1 stone. It would also rid us of its hellspawn. 365 days. Thanks for watching LWIAR. The best of recent r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out LWIAR too. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.